Hey guys, Bic Mitchum here, coming at you again with another podcast. Today we're gonna welcome back FireGuyGaming. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You've grown quite a bit since the last time you were here, so we would bring you back and kind of hear just some of the ways that you've built up your channel and what things have made you successful. So, what would you say the three things, or not the three things, but what are three things that you would most attribute your success to?
I'd probably say persistence first of all, because I've no matter what the game's gone through or anything like that, I've always kept going. Determination because I've always wanted to do this, and the fact that my channel's been doing so well has made me more determined for it. And then finally, just like fan interaction, really showing the fans you care about them. It just always helps out.
That's really good. I like the first point you made there because a lot of people, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, have kind of given up on the game.
Yeah,
Even it's kind of fallen flat a little bit. A lot of people have given up.
yeah,
You talked about streams and interaction as well. One of the things I want to talk about today is because a lot of streamers talk to me about moderators, and you're kind of lucked out in the sense that you've got a moderator, Josh Janali, that's really, really good. Would you tell us maybe a few expectations of mods and kind of things you like or things you don't like, how you pick them?
Well, first of all, like I think one of the main things is I see people maybe modding someone if they sponsor or if they donate. I don't do that. I mod someone and how loyal they are. I think Josh is a good example of that. He comes to he's been on my channel I think since around April time. He's missed very few streams since then. I understand not everyone can do that, but he comes to most of the streams, deletes like any comments that shouldn't be there because I have a PG channel and everything, and he's just active. Really, that's what I look for mainly.
And how do you think you keep like how do you keep mods long term? Like one thing I've noticed is that you can get somebody that's very keen at first, and then they kind of fizzle out or kind of slowly. Because I mean, if you think about it, like it would be tough to keep someone interested for a long period of time to just watch you play, moderate a stream. Because at first it feels good. You feel good about it. It's like a position of power of sense, but it kind of over time that like the newness wears off, and it kind of becomes not a cool thing
That's
anymore.
true. Yeah, I've had like to be honest, I don't just have the same mods all the time because I've had the problem that as soon as someone gets moderator, they all of a sudden stop coming. And with the channel growth, I've had to have active mods to keep everything in order. So really, I've had probably ever since they allowed like moderating on YouTube and stuff, I've only had one moderator that's lasted the whole time. I've just been switching the others around constantly because people seem to go active and then inactive. It can be due to Battlefront as well, and people aren't finding that entertaining and stuff at the moment.
No, that's very true. Because yeah, you got to constantly evolve because people are going to come and go. That's very, very, very true. You
Yeah.
mentioned the PG or family friendly streams. Um, what kind of brought you to that decision to have those roles in your streams, and kind of like what are the positives and we'll say negatives of having a child friendly stream?
Well, first of all, I know for a fact like most of my audience are children because they say a lot of the time. I know my English viewers say they can't always stay up to watch the rest of my streams, so I know I've got to cater to them. And I think when I was a child, I wouldn't really want to watch someone who was swearing or saying inappropriate things and stuff like that. So I tried to make it so it suits everyone. But then the disadvantage is that trolls will come in and swear and spam and stuff like that, and it kind of makes the chat go a bit crazy sometimes. So that's where the mods help out, but it is a disadvantage when you're having people coming in trying to troll because they know the rules and they're just going to break them.
Yeah, I've noticed with streaming that there is a small audience that kind of there's just the way they are. They swear. They're a bit edgy, we'll say, and it kind
Yeah,
of they don't enjoy the chat as much, and they maybe come and go. They maybe watch videos, but streams they won't find interesting because they want to. They want to make the we'll say the adult jokes or they just curse and swear naturally just because that's what they do. And I mean, I don't think swearing is as bad And I mean, I don't really allow it that much in the stream, but if someone's swearing at somebody, it's a much bigger deal to me than if someone just either quotes something or just says a swear word. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of the malicious
Yeah,
intent.
yeah. I think the main thing is though that I think because there's children there, and I just from myself, I know that I just wouldn't want to hear people swearing at that age. But I understand like people will be different. I'm just thinking that you can put a point across without swearing when there's children around. Because I'm always open to debate with people on my streams. Just I want them to do it in the right way and think about who's watching. So then the channel appeals to everyone.
Right, and parents definitely don't aren't gonna want people to, if they found out someone was watching your channel and the chat was a little crazy, they might, you know, tell their children they can't watch that channel or they can. So you kind of
Exactly.
lose some viewership. I think because we have a channel, our channel rules are similar to yours, and I think that's the best way to kind of keep your audience open. Like you're open to the widest audience, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like everybody can watch you mainly. It's not restricted.
It's less offensive because the world is getting more more and more offended easily, I find.
Yeah. So it just like it makes it so everyone can enjoy it and everyone can just enjoy the streams really and have fun. So
All right, let's talk about the game a little bit. So we just got an update, patch 1.2, and we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. We're still waiting for season 2. What did you think of Jetpack Cargo?
um I don't like it. I've seen a lot of people saying they do like it, but my reasoning I've said a lot in streams because people ask me to play it because I can understand like it's quite popular with a lot of the fans, but I won't play it because it's repetitive for starters. It's only on one map, and I understand like it's a trial game mode, so they're not going to release it on all the maps at launch. But I would have liked one from each era at least. But I think it's being promoted in the wrong way. It's been being promoted, at least how I see it, as this big game mode when really it's just something that's average in my opinion.
I My take on it is I think that it's a very interesting concept,
Yeah,
but I think that with all the because your jump pack, you have a certain you can do the high jump or you can kind of like there's a few different like maneuvers that you can do. I feel like they should have had a map similar to like say Kashyyyk, where you really have to like be agile when you're moving around, like a lot of maybe like smaller platforms, so that when people are trying to get that the challenge isn't just avoiding other players but also maneuvering through the map. I feel like could be I feel like there's no maps that we have right now that are like perfect for that kind of game mode. I want to see something that's like where one wrong move you could fall kind of thing. Like I feel like there could be something similar to that.
yeah, I get that. I think Camino or Kashyyyk would work well for it because you can fall off those maps and stuff. But that's the thing. I don't want to keep playing Moss Eisley every time, and it's like they're forcing us to not forcing us, but they're really wanting us to play Jetpack Cargo with the challenges. For example, last week's weekly challenge was play 5 games of Jetpack Cargo, and this week's is play 3 games, and it's just they want us to keep on playing it. And it's not really the content we've asked for, to be honest. We've been asking for other things such as Conquest, which I know will take time. So I understand it's not in here yet, but we could put in, for example, maps from the campaign like Bespin maybe into the multiplayer, but they give us this instead with one map. I just can't enjoy it.
No, that's definitely fair to say, but for the most part, I did enjoy the. I thought because I really enjoyed the jump pack controls and the feel of it in the first game. I did feel like this game's jump pack felt a little clunkier, but I thought Jetpack Cargo still felt okay. Like I wasn't. I just felt like the only problem was the map and maybe like some of the balancing's bad too, because I've lost 3-0, I've won 3. Like I feel like there's not a lot of close games.
Yeah, and also sometimes a game can last all of 2 minutes, and then other times it can go on for half an hour, and that's when I really start to get bored of it because you're on the same map for a long time, and especially if they've got a really good team as well. Sometimes I can go a whole game I won't even pick up the cargo, so it's a different game mode to others because it's fast paced. There's never a time to have a break or anything. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I just can't, it's not really for me, but I completely understand why someone would enjoy it.
It was a quick way to bring back because a lot of people want cargo back. It was kind of like a way for them to bring it back because everyone says, and I think we can kind of look at this as developers trying to do us a favor and are listening to us in a sense because we've complained about bringing old things back and reusing them, but then there's people that want cargo back. So I feel like they did a good job to take the game cargo and alter it in a way that wasn't the same thing. I think that's something we can kind of give them a little credit for because they're not using the same material, but they're also appealing to the people that did want to see the same material back.
Yeah, I can respect that decision. When you look at it that way, to be honest, it does look better. The bottom line with it really is just I don't enjoy it, but I'm glad it's in there because other people really do like it. So it's good to see there's more variety. I said in a video back it was last year, and I just said that the lack of game modes in Battlefront 2 is kind of bad because in the last game you had, I think it was, not including the DLCs, it was 10 different modes at launch, including Jakku, and there was something there for everyone. You didn't like every mode, but there was something there to suit everyone. So it's nice to see there's jetpack cargoes there for people who maybe do like using the jump troopers and who like cargo from Battlefront 1.
Yep, that's exactly right. I still see people doing daily hero hunt streams.
Yeah,
there's some
I miss Hero Hunt.
Hero Hunt fans out there.
Yeah.
So moving on, I just got a little question here. It was brought to my attention back in January, and I don't know if you heard this or not, but on January 30th, you published a video, 10 things you can save that can save Battlefront 2. And that was a day after Swanee posted a video that was 8 ways to fix Star Wars Battlefront 2. Do you have any comment for those that thought you stole this idea or copied it?
First of all, with that, I'm very surprised I didn't see Swanee's video because I watch their channel and I really enjoy it. I'm really surprised I didn't see their video, but then I started to see the comments come in about it, and it wasn't copying them, it wasn't intended to, and there was quite a lot of people saying that. But I think it goes to show that if they uploaded one as well and mine was the next day, that it shows that there's problems with the game if people are complaining, and it's that close together as well. There's problems and people want to discuss it. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing really if we made the same video about that certain topic. And obviously you said he did 8 things, I did 10, so I'm guessing not all the things we said were the same. So we're raising problems about the game, which there's a lot of them at the moment. I can't see anything wrong with that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, you would have had to be pretty busy on the 29th to put that video out on the 30th as well for that to... They were one day apart, so...
Exactly.
Unless you hacked his computer.
No, it wasn't intended to copy him, no.
No, that's good. Good to clear some things up sometimes. Do you think that the upcoming DLC is going to be good enough to save the casual players from leaving the game?
This is probably like the most talked about thing, I'd say, in my streams. And I see it in the community as well, but in my streams we're always talking about this. And it's getting closer and closer to the release of Solo. And myself and a lot of other subscribers are worried that they're going to release a Solo DLC, which will bring players back because people will be interested in the new film. But if it's not Clone Wars, like if they don't add Grievous and Obi-Wan, which I say they're the 2 we need to save the game because they're the 2 most requested heroes. If it's not them, I'm going to be quite worried. I still think Solo will bring players back, like I said, but it needs to be Grievous and Obi-Wan or Anakin and Dooku, I would say, to actually get people back on the game properly.
Yeah, we're getting, like you said, really close to the release of that movie, and we haven't seen The Last Jedi was the last DLC. I feel like, you're kind of worrying me a little bit that they're waiting around to announce the Solo DLC. I think they're gonna crush people if they do that. It'll be like a kid that opens a Christmas gift and it's like a pair of jeans or something. Like it's gonna be a sad day if that's the case. I think just because everyone's so eager to see Grievous and Obi-Wan.
I think the worrying thing about it as well is in Battlefront 1 we were constantly thinking, or at least I was, I don't know about other people, that is Chewbacca going to be in this DLC? He wasn't in Outer Rim and then he wasn't in Bespin, which I can kind of understand. And we had to wait until the end of the year to finally get Chewbacca. And if the next DLC is solo, which I think there's a possibility, really, then how long will we have to wait for Grievous to get into the game? And by then, it could be too late. As we saw with Battlefront 1, by the time Death Star came out, yeah, people came back to play the game, but nowhere near as many that would have come back if he was in the game earlier.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair statement for sure. Moving back to talking about your channel a little bit, when you were last on the podcast, you were sitting around, I think, right around 5,000 subscribers at the time, and that would have been about 4 to 6 months ago. So you're very close to 15,000 right now. So do you think 100,000 or even 1 million is attainable?
I think when it comes to Battlefront, I don't think 1 million will ever be attainable if the games keep being in the state they're in. For example, like a lack of communication stuff. I think 100k is always attainable with Battlefront. We've seen various channels do it, but I don't know about mine doing it. I didn't really want to set a goal for the end of the year this time round because I set one last year and I just did so much better than it. So I thought this year I'll just see what happens. But I ended up setting it at 20k. So if I hit that, I'll be happy. But I don't know about 100k, to be honest. Something big would really have to happen with the game for that to happen.
Or you'd have to come up with some sort of viral video.
Exactly, which I don't think... I've got a few things planned, but nothing that I think will carry me to 100k. It could happen if I keep going for years and years, but by then, I don't know what state Star Wars games will be in and stuff like that.
Can you offer any sort of like kind of hints or on any projects that you're working on? This was a question from your Discord.
Yeah, I've been teasing something for a while. It might actually be out by the time this goes live, which is an Order 66 concept video. Because the most highly requested comment I get asked is, "Would you like to see an Order 66 mode?" And something I like to do is actually listen to my subscribers, because I don't feel EA and DICE really listen to us as the fans as much as they could. And something I like to do is listen and put ideas forward. So I've been working with a few other my subscribers. I've had people like doing graphics for the video and people doing voice acting for it, and we put together an Order 66 concept video. It might do well, it might not, but it's definitely something that I think my current subscribers will like and would probably want to play in Battlefront. I know I'd want to play it, and the people who know about it so far agree with me on that.
You mentioned the communication with the developers and stuff there. I saw a tweet from Battlefront Updates either yesterday or the day before, and he was praising the game Fortnite for its updates, its weekly content, and all that stuff. Do you think we'll ever see Battlefront getting to the same level as Fortnite?
This is the thing I don't understand, because I've seen the excuse a lot of people use is that it's EA or not EA. Well, it can be them or it could be Lucasfilm holding back DICE from communicating. But the way I see it is the other game that EA have made, Galaxy of Heroes, which I know is a mobile game, so less effort goes into that. But there's a lot of communication from the developers on that about that game. And then also Star Wars in general, they have that weekly show on the YouTube channel where they release news and stuff like that. So they're keeping people up to date with everything. But when it comes to Battlefront, I don't really understand what the situation is and why there's no communication.
I try to think of it all the time, and some other people we've had on the podcast before do talk about that chain of Lucasfilm, Disney, that everything has to be approved by them, and then everything has to be tested, everything has to be approved, it all kind of seems to come back to that, is kind of what everybody seems to think, I guess.
I get it, but what I think is like Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game, because that game there's so much communication with that. I've got notifications on for EA's Twitter because I'm always thinking like today might be the day that they release some news, and it's always to do with Galaxy of Heroes. And that game has content from like all three eras, all the TV shows and stuff, and Disney don't seem to care about canon in that game. Whereas with Battlefront, a more popular game, we can't have, well, there's rumors that we can't have Anakin and Vader in the same game, and people want that. I don't know if it's true or not, but but it just seems like there's more. They want Battlefront 2 to follow the canon more than the other games that aren't even played as much. I think they should just, like Battlefront 2, have a bit more content that the fans want and not always care about keeping to the canon and stuff.
I think the game has really held true to, like, stayed true to the Star Wars name for sure. Like, there's no, like, I hear what you say about Anakin, and they don't want any inconsistencies with the story and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's
that's true.
You know, it's just I think that, you know, perhaps there's just a problem internally within the company that's just kind of, you know, delaying. You know, I don't know. We could sit here and contemplate what's going on for ages, but, you know,
there was a situation at the moment with, like, the Hoth skins that you can look at but you can't play as, and Luke's got his blue lightsaber, the same one Rey has. So if they're in the game together, they'll be holding the same lightsaber, but they seem to be holding back Anakin. And I do believe it's to do with Anakin and Vader being in the game. No matter what people say, it's got to be something to do with that because he's the main character and he's still not in there. But I don't know. It could be, it could not.
Like I said, we could probably sit here and hash this out for an hour.
Exactly,
and not really come up with anything. So let's just
still have no news.
Yeah, we'll hope moving forward that the communication eventually gets better, because, I mean, or that they just start listening to what the fans want and kind of communicate. Like, we've been seeing a little bit more from Dennis on Twitter. He's been responding to things. I've been following Battlefront updates, and he seems to have a lot of. Dennis is responding to, you know, a lot of the questions, but the big things are still. There's still question marks.
Yeah. Well, it could go on for ages, like you say, so...
Exactly.
We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
We'll leave that topic there, but we mentioned earlier about Battlefront YouTubers that are quitting or not making content anymore, not enjoying the game. How does this make you feel as a Battlefront YouTuber when you see all the other YouTubers quitting or giving up, moving on to new games?
It's quite sad, really, when you look at it, because these are YouTubers that I've watched, because, you know, my channel was nowhere a year ago, really, and these are people who I looked up to and enjoyed. And they're stopping. I can't blame them, to be honest, because YouTube's about enjoying what you're doing, first of all, and if they're not enjoying Battlefront, then it's fine not to play it. But it's sad, really, that we look back at the potential Battlefront 2 had, and how many people have quit playing the game and they moved over to Fortnite and stuff. I wish that it hadn't have happened, because there were so many Battlefront YouTubers enjoying Battlefront 1 and stuff when the DLCs were coming out, and it would have been nice to keep that going for Battlefront 2, but people just seem to have lost hope in the game. I have lost hope as well, but in some ways, but I managed to keep going because I just enjoy interacting with my community, and I can enjoy the game sometimes, but other times not as much.
I find the streams, the playing the game and having the people to interact with can sometimes make it a lot more fun. I don't play on my own. I don't know if you do that as well, but I don't find just sit down and just play the game to be as fun.
Yeah, I don't play off stream whatsoever anymore. I only play on stream, and I get, like, most of my footage for my videos on stream also. I just really can't bring myself to play it in my spare time.
So we kind of touched on this before, actually, but the Clone Wars DLC doesn't come out, or it's delayed. What are we gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna stay uploading Battlefront no matter what, because I've got no plans to quit. But if it's not Clone Wars, then there's going to be a serious problem. EA are going to be getting a lot of hate off that. And I think a lot of people will just quit the game in general, to be honest, because we've waited all this time. If they let us down, that's the problem now. They've been building up March, really, haven't they, with the new progression system, and apparently we'll get news on Season 2. If this doesn't deliver, there's going to be a lot of backlash, and I don't know. I don't see it working out well if it's not Clone Wars.
So for progression, what are they going to change? What's your kind of thoughts on what they're gonna they're doing a major overhaul? What kind of things can we see here?
To be honest, I would make it how it was in the last game. It was a simple progression system in the last game, but it kept people playing really for a good amount of time until the game finally died out. I'd get rid of pay to win. I think they've got to do that. Make the loot crates cosmetic only. They need to change the system with credits, where in the last game, I think, I'm trying to remember, I believe it was, for example, say you got 5,000 score in a game, you'd get 500 credits. I believe that was right. Bring that back. Make it so there's skins unlockable as well at certain ranks. But then if you want to buy the skins with money, that's fine. Just no pay to win stuff in there.
I thought the unlocking of cards as you reached a certain level was really well done, because you had abilities. Because right now, I think I've used the same hand for my officer for a month and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
And I
think I'm the same, to be honest, for most of them.
I have no interest in. There's no, and I know you've hit rank 50. I haven't gotten there yet, but if I rank up or level up, there's no excitement. Like the last game, every level or two, there was a new star card or a new something that you could unlock, and that's kind of, or you could try out, and that's missing when I level or rank up. I don't even realize it anymore. It's just, I might notice, oh wow, I got a lot of credits that round. Oh, I ranked up, but there's no real excitement. I mean, when you get, what is it, when you go from level 20 to 30, your rank goes up to, like, you can upgrade your cards more, but that just,
I think it's that, yeah.
But there's no, like, there's such a small difference from a blue to a purple card that it doesn't even feel like
it's just that there's no sense of like you've done something good. For example, when I was looking back when I hit rank 50, I think I hit it a few weeks ago, and when I hit rank 50 in Battlefront 1, I hit it a month after the game came out, so already that shows that I was playing the game more because there was actually something to work towards. And I was watching it back and seeing how happy I was that I'd got this. It was the Twi'lek skin and the Shadow Trooper skin. Yeah. And then in this game, all you get is a few thousand credits. I think it's 2,000. It might not even be that. And an achievement, which is just pathetic, really. I don't see why anyone would want to hit rank 50 in this game.
Because then there's no, like in Call of Duty, if you hit the max rank, then you continue, right? Like it's prestige or something like that. Like, don't they have a system that continues, so you're always progressing even after you've maxed out?
Basically, and that's the same problem is going to happen in this game that happened in the last one, which is that the ranking doesn't mean anything, because in the last game, you get rank 50, the good players would hit it straight away, and then because they added no ranks on for a while, the bad players or the not so good players would catch up to the good ones, and they'd all be on rank 50, and then they'd add in 10 ranks once again. The good players would hit it straight away, and then the others would catch up. So ranking doesn't really show how good you are at the game, because for a long period of time, you're just going to be max rank until you add something new in.
Interesting. Again, something we could probably go on all day about.
Yeah.
So another question from your Discord is, does FGG play other games in his spare time?
This is the thing here, because my channel started to do well in the summer of last year, so then I started to plan out all these things for Battlefront 2, and I pretty much decided that because I'm at university, so that takes up a lot of my time, if I really want to deliver good content here, I'm going to have to sacrifice playing everything else, because that university just takes up so much time. So when I could be playing other games and stuff, I've just decided to spend that time editing videos for Battlefront and putting my time into that for now, which I know a lot of people, I've said in my streams, they disagree with, or they don't disagree, but they can't understand it, to be honest. But it seems to be working well for the channel. I just don't want any other distractions as far as the channel goes when it comes to other games.
Nope, that makes a lot of sense. Are they going to add some more game modes and customization is another question from your Discord.
Game modes, I think Conquest will come eventually. They've hinted at it a few times. I think something like Conquest will come for game modes, and then they might add in maybe some from the last game, maybe Droid Run or Drop Zone, I don't know. And then customization, all the clone customization and like the Rebel customization stuff is in the files, and it has been since launch, but it's still not in the game. So if that's not coming in with the new progression system, then I don't know when it will.
Yeah, I think the new progression system just kind of knocked all the plans to the side. That's kind of where they've been working hard on. So perhaps once we see this progression launch, maybe this overhaul, then we'll start to see a steady stream of new content that's, what the viewers want or what they're asking for, and maybe that's the hope that we'll hold on to.
I'm just worried it'll be too late, which I've said for a while. Because if you think about it, it's been a year since it was at EA Play in June, I believe, or June or July, when the Create DLC was announced. We've had no news on DLC since then. So by the time they actually start adding it, will it be too late? Especially with games like Fortnite, really getting quite popular right now. Are people going to come back?
Right. No, exactly. Continuing with your Discord. Now, I didn't take any of the questions, but about developers. But I noticed that you're very vocal about developers in the game. You make a lot of comments about them, with a lot of them being jokes.
Yeah.
But what are some of the positive comments you have with the development team, and maybe what's an opportunity for them?
I think first of all, people have to remember I just joke about these things. Sometimes a lot of people take what I say seriously, but it is only jokes. But some of the positive things about the developers, I would say, is we touched upon it earlier. Is I think the developers do want to communicate with us, but it's Disney or Lucasfilm, EA, someone there is holding them back from doing it. So I do think they want to communicate, which is one good thing about them. But I can't really say too much more because we just don't know with the lack of communication, really. I suppose what they've delivered in the game so far, we can't say Battlefront 2 is a bad game, really. Obviously, the pay-to-win isn't a good part of the game, but the graphics, gameplay isn't too bad, really. Sound, everything like that. It's all fine, so I definitely congratulate them on that.
Very good. And if there was one big opportunity that they had, what would you say it is?
To just take advantage of the Star Wars license. They've been lucky enough to get given the Star Wars license, so start actually putting a bit more effort in, I would say. And they might be putting effort in, and then someone's just holding them back from putting this into the game. But if the company's got the Star Wars license, why not just try and add in as much as you can? Get Grievous and Obi-Wan in there, just get loads of planets in, everything like that. Because the thing is, if they really do take advantage of the license and maybe publish one game a year, they could do that even. They're going to earn a lot of money from it, which is good from a business perspective. So I just do that, really.
Yeah, I think for opportunities, like I can deal with the progression as it is, and I can deal with other players with the whole pay to win at start. Like that didn't really, none of that really bothered me. But if I'm playing along and I spend my 8,000 battle points to get a hero, and then I'm stuck on just a part of the map and I can't move, or all my abilities are locked and I can't use them, like that's the kind of stuff that, like, in terms of opportunities, that really kind of grind me a little bit. And I can't speak for, I'm not going to bash the developers and say they're not meeting standards. It's just perhaps they're putting too much of their resources into the new progression system that we're not seeing a lot of fixes for some of these even minor glitches.
Yeah. It's like with the Lando glitch, though, in the last game, and now we've got this, I forgot the name of the weapon, but one of the heavy weapons is just really overpowered. And I just get worried on how long is this going to take to fix. And surely it can't be Lucasfilm or anyone like that holding them back from fixing something overpowered in a game.
I just don't know why they can't take, each week, take the weapon with the highest KD, or the hero with the highest KD, and the hero with the lowest, and buff their stats, nerf their stats, just a small amount, and then each week watch, and try to get more like close to like an even playing field. Like, just like why is it so hard to tweak stats? Like, we just had a big patch update, and what the headlines are like, Palpatine nerf, You know, like I want to
Yeah.
see like some big headlines, some big things, like you know the jetpack cargo. That's huge, but the patch notes, you know, for them to be stressing, oh, we have balancing, but like I feel like that should be a weekly. Like, why can't we weekly take some say, okay, like, whoa, this is way too overpowered. Let's just tone the stats down a little bit. Maybe that's a lot harder than I think it is. I don't know, but
But
Fortnite.
really, here we're in the same situation as we was 2 years ago because we got the patch in February, we got cargo bug fixes and the Hoth skins, and then 2 years ago we didn't get cargo obviously because it was already in the game, but we got bug fixes and the Hoth skins. So it's like they haven't learned anything really at this point. That's at least how I see it. But I don't know.
Well, it's easy for us to sit back and speculate, but we're not we're not in the
Yeah,
building
that's true.
working
That's
on the
true.
game, but no,
Yeah.
I think they're talented. I think they did, like you said, a really good job with the graphics and sound. Like it really feels and looks like Star Wars. Like they did a really good job with that. I'm really impressed with that stuff.
Yeah.
So let's move on again. So has the ad apocalypse, we'll call it, affected your channel?
Um, it has in the way that videos are getting demonetized, but luckily for me, I don't really do YouTube for money or anything like that. It's not my job, so it doesn't affect me. But I can understand like it affecting bigger YouTubers. But when I see like maybe a video's been flagged as inappropriate or whatever it is, where you get the yellow demonetization button, I don't really care too much because I'm just grateful at the end of the day that I'm earning something off YouTube because it wasn't the case a year ago. So I'm just grateful, really, about it.
How often would you say it happens on a video? Like if you were to release 10 videos?
It started to happen a lot through December. I was pretty much every video I published in December got demonetized at the start, but then they were all seen as inappropriate. Seen as appropriate after that, so there was no problems. And then January was fine, and lately, once again, my videos seem to have been flagged. And the weirdest thing was, I had a video from over 3 years ago that's now private, with I think about 10 views on it, that got flagged as inappropriate the other day.
Oh,
So
really?
I don't understand the system whatsoever.
That is really strange.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So also, and that's kind of same subject. You've talked before about how you kind of hate, maybe not hate. You don't really approve of the idea of like merchandise for channels. Where does this
Yeah.
kind of come from, and why do you feel that way?
I could understand in a way bigger channels doing it, but I don't see why. First of all, I think because people have asked me, would you consider like selling merch and stuff? And I think, for example, like a T-shirt, would I wear it? And I wouldn't wear my own merch, so I wouldn't want to sell that on if I wouldn't wear it. It's just not something I'm really for, to be honest. People watch me for my videos. I don't think I need to do any more. And I understand other channels do that, they do the merch stuff. There's no problem with that. It's just not really something I'm for.
Okay, but not to put you on the spot, but earlier you're kind of talking about what my fans ask for and stuff like that. If
Yeah.
enough people asked for it, would you do it?
That's the thing. I really don't know because I like to listen to the fans, but there also comes a point when you can't do everything they ask for. I get, for example, a lot of video requests off them, and some I do, but it gets to the point where sometimes you just can't do it. Whereas with that, I don't know if people really, really wanted it, I might do it, but I think like I've got 14,000 subscribers. Not too many people are gonna buy it, to be honest. And I know, for example, I wouldn't buy my own merch because I don't. I just think of like to myself, would I wear it? And if I wouldn't, why would somebody else want to? So I really don't know in that situation.
Fair enough. You wouldn't want to be wearing a FireGuyGaming ball cap to university?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. So why would anyone else?
All right, last question before we wrap things up. As a viewer of the Bic Mitchum podcast, which has been the most interesting for you to listen to, in your personal opinion?
Each one has been very good, but it has to be Hello Greedos. Just his is the best for me all the way. the way he kind of asks you for your opinion on things after he answered and stuff, and seems to keep the conversation going for quite a while keeping it interesting. So I'd say his has to be the best.
That one is like, I've listened to that one as even though I was the one that did it, I listened to it after, and it was very interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're currently working on a podcast with just Josh and I both, just to just kind of talking about the podcast series so far and who we've talked to and how each one has gone. And it's kind of, hopefully we can get that out in the near future, because I think you guys will like to hear that too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
So, anyways, that's all I have for you today. That was awesome. I love chatting with you as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me on for a second time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great to have you back. We wanted to know what you were doing right over there, so we can copy it and steal all your ideas.
Yep. Hope you got some good ideas from it then, definitely.
All right, we'll see you again.
See you next time.
Thanks for joining us.